Tech brings with it a lot of questions, and you must have some. That's why you're joining us for today's broadcast. Like, you might be wondering where all these cords go. How do you get the equipment to work, and what if everything just fails? Man, you're in for a treat today.
What's going on? We're gonna talk tech today. Now, there are a lot of things that we can do with tech, but just because we can doesn't necessarily mean we should. Rock on! So, don't worry. Whether you're just starting out or whether you've learned from more mistakes than the other guy, you are not alone. We've got your back, and have we got a show for you.
Hey, Kent, where's that guy?
Yeah. It's fun. But
like me better as a chipmunk as a real person.
Yeah, I did have the little bunny ears too, but decided to go with the more macho thing. But yeah, just because you can use, it's very tempting to get all excited about tech and have all the bells and whistle, and sometimes it really helps, sometimes not so much. But yeah, that's what we're talking about today, guys. We are talking tech. So yeah, would love your comments on Facebook as we go through.
Let's bring the team on, Kent. I think so that we can see what they have to say about tech.
Yep,
bring on the crew.
We're gonna have to keep it moving because we got like massive
full show today.
Full show, yeah. Streaming, audio, video,
so much.
equipment,
you don't want to miss a
websites.
single piece.
It's gonna be nuts.
Oh, look at we got the whole crew here. Got Superstar Lindell from AUC. Got Big Man Victor from NZPUC. We got Pete with all of his audio equipment working this week.
Hey, Bulamanaka.
I like it.
We're so excited to have you guys here today. We're going to have a lot of fun, and there's going to be a lot of stuff happening that's way over my head because it's super techie. But we want to start by asking you all, what is your favorite tech tool? Let's start with Lindell because I know she's the most techie among us.
That is not true. I am the least techie out of everyone here. But I think my favorite tech tool at the moment are these little exciting things because it means I can hear and talk through the microphone. But if I can say one non-techie, it's definitely this, which is a notepad and a
taking
pen.
it back old school. Love it.
Yeah, because most people think that it's super easy to just wing it. But very few people can do that well. I like to write everything down before I present, know exactly what I'm going to say. Even preaching, I like to have stuff pretty much word for word. So that's my go-to for everything tech.
Awesome.
That doesn't count as tech.
No. That would have been tech. That would have been tech in some age. So we're going to still consider it tech. What about you, Victor? What's your favorite tech tool?
Yeah.
Oh, I went through my cupboard, like looking through all my stuff. So I think I'll go with this. I'll put it. What do you think it is?
A mini tripod.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yes, it is a mini tripod. I use it a lot for my small iPhone I have. This is another beautiful, tech thing is. So all my Zoom are done through, my little tripod.
We know your secret now, Victor.
Yes, very comfortable. It doesn't fall anywhere. I can put it in any shape and form.
Awesome. What about you, Pete?
Yeah.
For me,
simple with you or not?
For me, it's more like a Sony camera. That's my techie. I'm not used to Canon cameras. I'm used to Sony cameras, and it allows me to sync my smartphone photos. I take instant photos and upload it at the same time. I don't like delaying it for another week, so I usually use it both these two, Sony and iPhones.
Yeah.
So this is my. It's a Sony A6 version.
Does it shoot video as well as stills?
It does. It shoots 4K.
Okay.
And
there we
also
go.
This shoots 4K. So it's both handy.
Good thing. Well, next time we need a video, we're gonna call on you, Pete, because we know you have the equipment.
Yeah.
And Cameron, you've joined us from PNG. Thanks so much for being a part of the Adventist Church Online Network this week. What's your favorite piece of tech? Your little secret weapon.
Yeah, thank you. I got this lapel mic.
Oh, the old lapel. Yep.
Yeah.
Helpful
this
in
is
church
good
and
tool.
also helpful making video.
Yeah, production for good sound.
Oh, we love it. Sound. We're gonna learn today that audio is probably the most important thing. So, well, we want to ask you, what's your favorite tech tool? Drop it right now in the comment section, whatever Union's page you're on. If you're on the YouTube channel, let us know right now. What is your favorite tech tool? We'd love to see what it is and see if there's anything that overlaps with our team. Team, we're so glad you've been part of this process over the last few weeks, and we're going to be going to all your unions over the next minutes that we're together to share what's happening in technology and how God is using this space to spread the gospel. So
yeah. Hey, and if you guys are watching and you're thinking, hey, where's my go-to to get help with tech support? These guys at your union are a great port of call. Now, Rachel, we've got another guest coming up. Is that right? Or an interview or video?
Yes. Thanks, guys, for being with us. We are so excited to have you guys on the team, to be part of the team with you.
Thanks.
Yep. See ya. Yeah, so we also are going to have a guest coming in today. His name is Kirk Nugent. He's from Composition, and he's a media consultant. And actually, he's the one who got us started on StreamYard. So he has a lot to share around the tech space. And we're going to be sharing a lot of things between audio, video, streaming, just talking about everything that has to do with tech and how it impacts your church. So we would actually love to bring Kirk onto the show so we can have a chat with him and just learn a little bit more about the live streaming space. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. So good to be back, Kent and Rachel. So good to see you again.
Yes.
Thanks.
Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from Huntsville, Alabama. in the United States, and
Oh, way down south, eh?
Is that way down south? Huh? I mean,
not as far as us.
Not as far. But the time here is just after 11, so 11:13 p.m. But it's still the Sabbath, so we're keeping the Sabbath holy.
We're doing it all together, like
Yes.
in just different days, but still the Sabbath in different
Right,
parts of the
right.
world. Yeah.
And
you're in the home of my alma mater, Oakwood. So
That's
big
right.
ups to Oakwood.
Big up to Oakwood, yes.
Big up.
Yeah, they're having their graduation weekend this weekend.
Oh, wow.
Majority of it is virtual, but there is one section of it that will be in person, but socially distanced, just to
just in case.
Just
Well,
in
you
case.
mentioned that the commencement is virtual, and we know that a lot of our churches are having to have that same experience.
Yes,
They're having to
yes,
be online.
yes,
And what we
absolutely.
wanted you to kind of share with us a little bit about is, technology. Sometimes it can feel like it can get in the way of what you're
Right.
trying to do, but I know what you're all about is really empowering people to not feel like the tech has to get in the way.
Right.
And I know
right.
one of the things you advocate for is for the software side of live streaming. You know the hardware side, but you kind of advocate for it. So I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell us what you
Yeah,
have to say.
Look, just take it right back to basics for us, Kirk.
Sure, sure.
What do we mean by hardware streaming and software streaming? Like, what is it, and what's the difference?
Well, you have a hardware encoder, right? So the basics of going live.
You've already lost Kent with encoder, I think.
So that's why I took it a step back. So the basics of going live is you need something to capture your video, to capture yourself or your subject. If you're producing a show and you have talent on screen, you want to have a camera or a video camera or something that's capturing your subject. Okay, so that's
Sure.
number one. You got to have that, and then of course you want to have some lighting. But again, that's not as necessary in the grand scheme of things. It's when you want to start getting a little more technical. So what I normally tell people is try to situate yourself near the light, near the sun. If you have sunlight coming into your home, try to situate yourself so that the sun is shining on you. And
That's actually what I'm doing today, Kirk.
There you go.
I'm facing an open window with the blinds open.
Yeah, and that becomes like a light box, so it's
That's
really
right.
giving you good,
Yeah,
clean
yeah.
light. And then you just want to make sure that there's not a whole lot of light behind you, unless you can combat it with light coming on you. So like Rachel right now, you have some light behind you, but you have really good clean light on your face, so it's it gives a good clean look. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
so,
so back to
Rachel
the-
has artificial lighting. I close my blinds for that exact reason.
Well,
Otherwise,
but-
you get see this glare here.
Yes.
You wouldn't want that right behind you. Eh?
No,
that would not
Well,
be good.
guys, not to take us off of the lighting topic, but what were you saying about the encoding and then the
Oh, yeah,
software?
yeah.
So
Hardware,
you're
software,
gonna
yeah.
send that video. You're gonna send that video feed into an encoder. And so what the encoder does is it takes your video feed. It sometimes will pace it, as in it'll try to what's the term I was looking for? So you're gonna send that video stream to your destinations. Like encoder takes your video stream and sends it to your destination. So
to the internet, basically.
yes, and so
Yeah.
your destinations could be your website, it could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, whatever your destinations are. Those are your destinations. And you want to make so the encoder does that part for you. But sometimes the encoder will help to ensure that the destination is getting a good clean stream. So sometimes you're like, hey, there's a delay between what's live and what's actually streaming on Facebook. That delay is because the encoder is doing its job. It wants to
Right.
make sure that if there's any drops in the delivery, that it can buffer that, and the user on the other end is not seeing any of that activity live on their end. So they're getting
Right.
a good,
So-
clean, consistent stream. Yes.
So Kirk, an encoder is actually could be like a physical box
It
where
can
you're
be.
physically plugging the camera into one end and your audio
Absolutely.
feed, and physically having a cable coming out of the other end
Absolutely.
to
Right.
a computer system, to an online system. Okay.
Right,
yep.
right. When we
So
were
that's a hardware solution.
hardware solution.
And
when
we're
I
going to
was
see
in-
a lot of those today. Like we have a number of churches who are going to share their setups.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what
when I
about
was-
the software? Oh, I'm sorry. What about the software side
I
of it?
The software side makes it a little bit easier. It takes one
Okay.
component out. Okay? So all you need to do at that point is then connect your video source to your computer. And then your computer is connected to a software platform, whether it's OBS or it is Wireshark or it is Restream.io, which is a cloud-based platform. It's online. StreamYard, which is what we're using today. And one of my favorites, and then, or even something like Ecamm Live, which I'm also using right now as my virtual camera going into StreamYard. So
So those are all software options. I'm trying to break it down for people who just have no clue. So we talked hardware with the encoder, and then we talked software, which was all the ones you mentioned, like OBS, ACON, StreamYard,
and then there's others. I mean, Livestream.
Yeah.
There's actually a product called Livestream. It was purchased by Vimeo, so it's Livestream Studio. It's a really good product. They also have hardware encoders, but they have software encoders as well.
Okay, so we have hardware, we have software, but from what I understand, to make it super simple, one of the things you advocate is that people use a software option. Is that true?
Yes.
Like for people maybe just starting, and
especially for houses of faith, for ministries, nonprofit organizations looking to get started online, the lowest cost of entry is, of course, on the software side, on the cloud-based side, because you don't have to buy an encoder. Encoders can run, a good couple of $100. So some of the good ones, you can buy one that's not too bad. There was an Epiphan thing that was really good, but they discontinued it. That's one I would have highly recommended for folks if it still existed. But the software encoders, the software platforms, like the list of them that we just mentioned, those are ones that you can just get an account. You can even get a free trial and just start testing it. And once you have the account, all you need is a laptop and a webcam, essentially, or a computer with a webcam. Laptops, you generally have them built in. So, and you can go live, or you can do a program of some sort with just those bare essentials.
So I guess, Kirk, to go even one step easier than that is that, I mean, if you use Facebook Live, for example, or if you use Zoom, I mean, it's all built into your smartphone, or it's all like I'm on a laptop right now. I'm just looking, straight at that camera that's built into my laptop. I don't have to worry about encoding or decoding or anything, because I'm just straight streamed online. So that's even one step easier, isn't it?
Yes, it is. When you have a laptop, the laptop has a built-in microphone, has a built-in video source or your webcam, and that's it. You're good to go. Now, of course, there's levels. So that's the basics, and your bar for entry there is very low. So anybody can really do that. I mean, literally, you can just take your phone, go on Facebook, and press live, which I've done multiple times, and including right now. And
get a mini tripod like Victor, or,
there you go.
or just lean it up against a Vegemite jar. Yeah,
there you go.
We have one question from the audience. So they're asking, if software encoders are so good, why? And it's from Candice. If our producers see it, they can put it on the screen. She's saying if software encoders are so good, like why use a hardware one at all? We do also have a video after this from someone who's advocating hardware, so we'll also hear that perspective after this talk.
So controversy.
The hardware encoders can handle the larger bit rates. They can handle the 4K and the 1080p type HD quality content. So those, so you can do that with the software, but you're basically cutting out the middleman. So let me also add this one other piece. When you're streaming with, say, something like StreamYard, you as the consumer, as the end user, as the person who's putting your content online, don't need a physical encoder, but StreamYard has it for you.
So it's happening still somewhere behind the scenes.
It's still happening. It's just that you don't have one. You have more control over your quality, your bit rate, all of those things if you have it in-house for yourself. And so a lot of people want that control for themselves. They don't want to pass through a middleman or a service or whatever. They want to have that control for themselves. So something like a Breath of Life Ministries, that's at Oakwood Church with Dr. Bird as the speaker director, they would not use something like StreamYard. They would stream themselves. They would use their own encoders, whether it be whatever. I'm not even going to go into Blackmagic has a number of them. Livestream has a number of them, but they would use those and they would go from there.
Yeah. So basically, bigger team, more tech expertise, more control.
Absolutely.
That's the sort of situation where you're wanting a hardware encoder.
And let me add one other piece. Sorry, let me add one other piece and just say that...
We just need to finish the interview in just a second, so
sure.
add a really good piece.
The point is your content, getting your content out there.
Definitely.
If the hardware encoder is going to do that, then let's do that. But if the software encoder enables you to do that quicker, then use the software encoder. But the point is to get your message and hopefully the message of Jesus out there.
And I know one thing that you've always expressed to us, because we've worked with you, is that you shouldn't, whatever you do, don't let the tech get in the way of what you're trying to accomplish.
Don't let the tech get in the way. Absolutely.
Yes.
The tech is a tool. The tech is a tool.
Yes. And then one other thing as well is that one thing I love about StreamYard is that we're all in different locations. Our producer's in one place, like all of us are in different places.
Absolutely.
This, I think, is the huge benefit of what we're using here.
Absolutely.
So, can you send us out with one, final message?
Look, the message of Christ, the message of love, it can be translated online, but we just have to think more creatively about how we do what we do. The tech is a tool, and the tool is in our hands, and it's given to us by the Savior. So we want to make sure we're using it for His purposes and for His glory.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks heaps, Kirk. And as I say in Alabama, y'all come back now.
You got it, man. That sounded authentic.
The worst thing is when Americans do Aussie accents and when Aussies do American accents.
I am not going to try an Aussie accent. But thank you guys so much for having me. This was fun.
Thanks, Kirk. Yeah.
Take care.
We'll
appreciate it. Okay, hey, we're going to check out a video now from Shane from Whangarei Church in the beautiful north of New Zealand. Let's go to that now.
Yeah, g'day. I'm Shane Ringrose. I go to the Whangarei Adventist Church, and we've been live streaming for a few years now. Number one is content. If you don't have good content, nobody's going to watch. Number two is audio. You've got to have good audio. And after that, you've got to have video. So I think people focus on the video too much. You focus on 4K, 8K. The reality is standard definition is fine, but you've got to have good audio. We've got 3 cameras primarily. Sometimes we use 2, sometimes we use 4. 1080p. They're actually about 10 years old now, but they were top of the line when we bought them. So then they go from the cameras into the mixer, and then from the mixer we split out to various sources, and 2 of them being hardware encoders, which convert video into a digital form to be sent to YouTube or Facebook or wherever you want to send it. I use the computer for setting up Facebook, YouTube, writing comments. Sometimes I have some feedback. Some people overseas, I ask them how their day is. But on top of that, I also do the audio levels are quite tricky because the sound operator is looking for the house audio, and they're not listening to what's actually being said, but that's the way it is. So I've linked into the mixer through my computer, and I can actually control the volumes myself, and we can get the right levels. With audio and video, unless you're using the mic on the camera, you're gonna get delay. The sync between the video and the audio is always going to be out, and you have to manually adjust that, and that's quite tricky. You could use the audio, the mic on the camera, but the problem is you never get good sound. You want that sound, pure sound, coming straight from the mic, straight from the speaker's voice. But the compromise is you're gonna have to adjust the sync, and that can be quite difficult. In my opinion, they're about the same price, but hardware has one job. That's all it does. It just sits on the desk and doesn't do anything else. Software, e.g. a smartphone or a computer, it's a multiple role device, like you can finish the streaming. The problem with that is you can never really fully rely on them because they have software updates. Hardware encoders, they just don't ever change. They just work. But you've got to decide what you're doing. If you're doing mobile, if you're going off-site, software is just so superior. But you have to make your choices what you want to do. People. The hardest thing about streaming is people. I mean, the technical side, for me, the machines are easy. It's the people side that's difficult. people don't want to be on the stream. You can't stream this, you can't stream that. That's difficult.
I love it. Shane kept it real. He was like, it's the people that's the hard part.
I think this really illustrates the reality that there are two kinds of people. Well, there's probably more than two, but there are definitely two types of people involved in this. There are the people, the creative people, and then there are the tech people who are like, machines are great. Plug it in, press the button, it does what it's told. But
what do you guys think?
Not so I've noticed.
Are you a people person or are you a tech person? Let us know in the comment section.
The world needs all types. Hey, we got a special guest coming on screen with us now, live from Queensland, Sandra Enterman. Please
and the crew.
How are you doing?
Oh, and the crew.
Really well.
How you doing? Excellent, that's fantastic. Now, Sandra, I think I can't remember how long ago, probably early 2000s, I heard you first singing at the Northern Australian Big Camp there in Townsville. Which was that long ago, I know. And you're still going and still looking so young and fresh. I don't know
the music is her secret.
Yeah, that's right. What are your beauty secrets? But look, just so that everyone has an idea of what you guys do, let's kick this off with a song. Let's have a bit of a short grab from one of your songs first, and then we'd love to talk to you about your ministry and how you integrate tech into that.
Sure. So I've just raked in a fourth person that wasn't here earlier, but she's in the sing-alongs as well. So this is Sandra, Juliet, Jeremy, and Sandra number 2. So we'll give you a little taste of what we do on a Friday night. Yeah?
Awesome.
I will serve thee because I love thee. You have given life to me.
Ooh, accidental.
I was nothing before you found me. You have given life to me. Heartaches, broken pieces, ruined lives are why you died on Calvary. Your touch is what I long for. You have given life to me. O te ao na taluai loalofa na e mari Wale ai lava o solele na e mari Loto wa momo na e mali widaia o olai lo pai o te momia na e mali
Ah, yes. Awesome.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
I know you're on a time schedule.
That was beautiful. Was that Tongan to finish off with there, or Samoan?
Samoan.
Samoan. Oh, look, I knew I was taking a risk.
That's
funny.
That's fantastic. So, how did you get started in music ministry, Sandra? I mean, I know it's not you. It's your friends, it's family, it's all kinds of people singing together. But doing a special item in church once in a while is one thing, but becoming the sort of regular, well-known music ministry that you've become, how did that happen?
I suppose being willing to sing everywhere and anywhere early days. Old people's homes and hospices and just the little doors that God opened. They were the important ones to walk through, so music ministry just started early on in life. But when it came to this online thing, oh no, this was just the result of COVID. I was just crazy not being able to have harmony and sing with people, stuck in your house by yourself. So I just went over. Go ahead.
I think the first time I saw you, it was maybe in your garage. Were you in your garage doing maybe your first one for children? You did a children's song, I think, first. You were saying you wanted to comfort the children, and
in the work at our workshop where we were.
That was the first one I saw that you did. And now recently I've looked at your page and you get between 15,000 and 20,000 people watching the streams, like through your music ministry. Since this is a tech week, can you just give us a little behind the scenes with what tech you're using, even if it's super simple?
So today I'm on the laptop for your program, but this is all we use. We just use this and go live on Facebook.
Wow, so you just hit that button.
Yeah. That's amazing. We do use a little cradle to put the phone in and a little ring light, just because I can't always be near an open window.
Yes.
And or good lighting, depending on who's home. I'm trying to get everyone back in the picture. Depending on whose home we're in, you can't guarantee there's good lighting. So I actually bought that little cradle and that phone holder for my nephew who was doing an online evangelistic series because he had bad lighting, but then I just borrow it back off him on Friday night.
That's fantastic. And from an audio point of view, Sandra, I was watching like one of your sort of lounge room sing-along sessions. You had guitar, you had a keyboard there, everyone was singing. No microphones in evidence, but what I could see is that you were really smart. You had an electric piano that you could therefore adjust the volume. You had the vocals up front, you had the guitar behind, which potentially could have been quite loud. So it seems like you'd managed to actually balance the mix that was coming through, even though all you were using, I assume, was the internal microphone on your phone, which is, I think, as Shane said earlier from the Whangarei Church, like using an internal microphone is a real risk. You get like lots of echo and nasty sounds, but you've nailed it. You managed to nail it.
It must be God, Kent, because really that night that you speak of was a grand piano, not a keyboard. That was a grand piano, and the microphone, we had to have the phone up over the top of the piano to get us in the picture. So the piano was very loud. So I'm singing loud to make sure vocals can be heard.
Right.
Soft voices. They're not Samoan that night, so they didn't have the same projection. So that was our hardest night of mixing, and the guitar was plugged into an amp, so it was the hardest night. But people, bless them, they come on whether it's perfect or not, and they sing along and share and like, and it's just special.
And I think that that's what we really want to emphasize, is that we want to do we want to do the best job possible, and we want to honor God in the things that we're doing, but we don't want the tech to stand in the way. And I'm trying to emphasize like the beautiful ministry that you have, the simplicity of the technology you're using, and I think that the ministry you have can be replicated by many churches, doing simple praise and worship. So really just wanted to encourage people through what you're doing.
Yeah, Rachel, you are so right. I would encourage anyone to do something. Do something. We're to be the hands and the feet of Jesus at all times, and especially when everyone's feeling isolated and locked down. Whatever God has given you, whatever skill sets you have, get busy and do something. Some weeks I've forgotten how to even do a live. I'm like, oh, dude, don't do this every week. I don't even know what to press. I can't find it on Facebook. I don't even go live, Other weeks I've forgotten to set it to public, and so people are just like, can't find it, and they're messaging you madly, but you've got your phone on airplane mode, Other weeks you forget to put your phone on airplane mode, and people try and call you in the middle of this thing. And my phone tipped over because I'm not always using the cradle. Sometimes it's just sitting there on someone's, the phone tips over in the middle of it, or I flipped the button and it's gone to black, and I don't know what in the world's happening, and it's just a mess. But just keep going, and God comes through. And
I love it. I love that message. Like we've all made tons of mistakes, and some people have said experts are really people who've just failed more than other people. They've gone through that process.
I really like that.
Yeah, we just want to really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know this is all about the tech side of things, but I will take this opportunity to say that maybe not everyone can do everything. No one can do it. Not everyone can get out and do. I've just been blessed. I've got good people, and I know a lot of musical people. And of course, if it was just me getting online and singing, it would not have the same impact. The fact that I've got willing participants, but whatever, people you've got, whatever skill sets you have, and even if you don't have too many techie skill sets, which I don't, just use what you got. Just do something for Jesus.
That's
I love
so
that.
fantastic,
I love that.
Sandra, and I really like the fact that that you shared some of your fails with us, because that is the reality. We're actually going to check out a video on that in a minute, just these fails. But we really want to encourage people to embrace those fails. Those tech fails. They're an opportunity to learn. So thanks so much, Sandra, and
Yes,
thanks so
thank
much,
you.
team. Tofa. So at least I got that right. Okay, go on.
We
go,
wanted to
Rachel.
ask you, what is your biggest tech fail? Let us know in the comment section wherever you're watching us. You're among family. Just feel comfortable to let us know. And we're actually going to highlight some of our failures so you won't feel so alone in maybe making some tech mistakes.
I cannot look away.
This is our
Yeah, and if you thought Rachel was hyped, check out this guy.
He has me beat.
Oh, tech issues.
Yeah.
Are you hearing me, Rachel?
I realized I was on mute. It's like
Oh, you were on mute.
classic problem. I was having a whole conversation too.
Welcome to the era of Zoom. You're on mute. Get off mute.
A panel discussion on Zoom, but that was live stream. And the goal of that, you've got a call there, Rachel?
I don't.
Mute yourself, Rachel, or your phone.
There's still a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Yeah, I think after all my protestations, everyone needing to unmute, you probably should mute until it's time for you to actually talk.
I can't wait for today's mistakes.
Oh no, that's just nuts, isn't it? But look,
yes,
you got to learn from it. And look, we got another video about learning from our failures, being encouraged, using them as a springboard to go next level. Eddie Hippolyte's got a great message for us. Let's check that out.
The one thing that COVID-19 did immediately was shift the online space from being a space in which we function globally to being the only space in which we function globally. And the knock-on effect was the same for the church. The online space was just one of other spaces that we thought about. Yeah, well, we'll get round to how we can really impact through the online space eventually, because we place so much importance on the face-to-face. But now that the coronavirus has taken that from us, where do we find ourselves in? This is the space. And as a result of this, it has brought pressure on those who are in that digital space, who are deliverers of the digital space, who are the innovators within the within the digital space, who are the ones that do our worship sessions from week to week, throughout our churches and throughout our organizations. It has brought pressure to bear on them, where it doesn't seem like any margin for mistakes are being allowed. Any type of failure, any type of glitch, no, we cannot have any of it. and so those of you who take pride in what you do, as tech people, as digital disciples, those of you who take pride in what you do, you actually take on the undue pressure and expectations of others outside of you, knowing your craft, knowing that, yeah, sometimes the tech it does what it does. A gremlin gets in it and we don't know what's happening right now. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been preaching, I've been teaching, something got into the tech, and all right, let's forget all of this. I'll shout at the crowd, or I'll just create mental images in their mind with my words, and we'll forget the screen and we'll just keep it moving. That happens. For those of you who are fearing making mistakes in this space, let me share these things with you. Number one, give yourself the space to make mistakes and learn from your mistakes. Don't allow people's undue expectations of what this tech space can do and what it should be doing, or even your own, to pull you away from the possibility of making mistakes, because you only get better from the mistakes you make and the way you learn from them. Failure, number two, failure is not the inability to succeed. Failure is refusing to try again once you've realized why you didn't succeed. Number three, we never arrive at perfection anyway. we arrive at the next lesson to learn, having learned the last lesson. So allow your space, allow yourself the space and allow yourself the time to take that journey. And lastly, your experience is your expertise. Your experience is your expertise, and your experience comes through learning from mistakes. So give yourself that space. Be patient with yourself. Allow yourself to grow from those mistakes. And the church will be better for what you do. You will be better for what you do. And the culture will be better for what you do.
Words of wisdom.
Yes.
He's always worth listening to, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. And yeah, it just gives us permission to try because we can then improve from it. One thing I love is that we're able to see how different people have their tech set up. We heard about hardware versus software. Now we're going to go and check out what the setup is at June Valley Church. We heard from them the first week, but now we're going behind the scenes with Isaac Manu, and he's going to show us how they do what they do, and hopefully you can learn from it.
Cool. Back to PNG.
Good afternoon. Isaac Manu is my name. I attend June Valley 7-day Adventist Church in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. This afternoon, I'll just go through the equipment we use for our live streaming services. I'll go through two setups. The first is a single camera setup, and the second is a multiple camera setup where we connect two cameras. In the first segment, I'll show you the equipment we use for our streaming. We have a video camera, and we connect the video camera on a Blackmagic web presenter. This one here. We connect the camera using SDI cable on this Blackmagic web presenter, and then we have this USB out from the web presenter to our laptop, where we get the feed from the camera into the streaming laptop. To get the sound, we use this Focusrite Scarlett USB sound card. With this cable, I get the main feed from the mixer into this Scarlett, and at the back there is a USB out, which I connect to my laptop in one of those USB ports to get the sound. To capture PowerPoint, I use this modem here. This is a 4G router. I use this for accessing internet to stream. At the same time, I get a cable from one of these ports at the back, and I connect a preacher's laptop here. I run a desktop capture program on this preacher's laptop, and I run Cat5 cable into the modem here, and then I get the screen capture into the streaming laptop. So that's how I get my camera feed, sound, and preacher's PowerPoint into the laptop using this single setup I have for my streaming. So in the multiple camera setup, we use a Blackmagic switcher over there. This is a Blackmagic switcher we use. At the back there's HDMI, SDI connectors. Currently on the screen you can see this feed is coming from the first feed is coming from the laptop, and the second feed is coming from the from another camera. So we get all these feeds into the Blackmagic video switcher, and then at the back that we have this program out. I get the program out into the Blackmagic web presenter, and then USB out from web presenter into the laptop for streaming. So basically that's what we have for our streaming. Single camera setup, we use the Blackmagic web presenter, And for the multiple camera setup, we use this Blackmagic ATM video switcher. So basically, that's what we do with our streaming at June Valley Church. We have also been running some streaming training for the churches, and what we have realized was that most of the churches do not have equipment. I think the most important equipment is this a Blackmagic intensity shuttle and a video camera. And if churches in Mosby can, Port Moresby can have these two very important equipment, they can be able to stream divine service or most of their church program. So that's basically what the type of equipment we use and how we connect for our streaming services in June Valley and other church programs in the country. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. How much of that did you follow, Ken?
I followed the general gist of it, and something that I really noticed that maybe is not thought about at the beginning is that yes, you need a way to get your video, online. You also need a way to get your audio online. But then there was number 3. What about the PowerPoints that are appearing on screen? Those slides. I mean, the worst thing you can do is point a camera at it. it'll probably look horrible. But then you don't want to miss out on it. So it's good that they actually have a way to get those images. I mean, I guess one thing that I thought was, boy, it would be a lot easier to do this in, rather than having to do it live, to do it in post-production, get your video, get your audio, put it all together later, like when it's not so stressful, and maybe, put it up, do it all a week earlier, or, put it up a week later or something. So there's still that sort of, in my head, I'm still wondering, live, pre-recorded, there are definitely positive.
It was something we talked about last week, I think. We kind of talked about the pros and cons. But we are going to look at another setup, and I think it's a good point you made about, seeing what's on someone's screen, because we're going to see a few more setups about how people do that. So we're going to see what our own Adrian Webster, who's part of our team, like what he does, because he has this phone ecosystem that he uses. So everything that his team does is around using phones. So if you're curious about how you might use your phone to do streaming and do video production, Adrian's going to walk us through what he does with his crew.
Hey, great to see you, and it's my opportunity to share with you a little bit about what I carry in my bag when I go filming. Now, the backstory, of course, is that about 2 years ago, myself and a little team, we decided we wanted to start using video to communicate the gospel. And so we wanted to get out there and make a bit of video. The challenge was we didn't have a lot of money in our back pocket, we didn't have a lot of equipment, and so we decided to simply start with what we had. We didn't know that the phone could be so versatile, and so essentially myself and my team, we use iPhones for all of our productions. We don't own any production cameras. The only time so far that we've used something other than a phone is when we need a drone shot, and obviously then we're using a drone. Other than that, it's all based around a phone, and we built this ecosystem around it. It needed to be portable, it needed to be something that was easy and quick to set up, and it also needed to be something that was cost effective. And so we've found that building this ecosystem in a modular fashion around the phone as the central object is great. And hey, let's be honest, the phones and mobile cameras these days are just off the charts amazing. So although it would be great to use production cameras, if you don't have a lot of cash to put down on the table to start with, that does not need to be an obstacle for you. Use what's in your hand, use what's at your disposal. I'm going to show you a few things that we build around our phone to turn them into full production equivalents of cameras. You do not need all of this. However, if you can, bit by bit, add to it, absolutely wonderful. The first thing, the one weak point of the phone, of course, is sound, audio. You are going to need some kind of external microphone. Right now, I'm simply talking to you using this little lav mic. It's a Rode lav mic, which is hardwired into the lightning port on my iPhone, and it gives great sound. However, you can, if you want to, even use a shotgun mic. This is the Rode NTG3. It is a phantom-powered shotgun mic, and if I want to use this, I simply plug it into this little box over here, which screws onto the bottom of my camera rig, and this enables me to take an XLR in and go out through into the lightning port. I've got all these controls over here for gain and all that kind of thing that you would need, and of course it's powered by a little 9-volt battery over here, which gives the phantom power. And so you can actually, with the right equipment, turn the iPhone into a full production rig with this beautiful NTG3 shotgun mic. One of the best for a very modest price as far as these things go. All right, the next thing, of course, we have to think about is lighting, right? And for lighting, you don't need to spend a lot of money, but it is helpful to get some good lighting. Right now, I'm being lit up by 2 aperture lights over there, studio type lights, and I've got an aperture light portable one that I usually carry on the phone rig with my phone. There's of course also a number of smaller ones like these. These are battery powered, and the beautiful thing about that is they can simply be turned on anytime you need an extra bit of light. So that's great. The third component of all of this is, of course, lenses, the glass that we film with. And so there's a number of options here. Now, I must say that I use the Beast Grip cage to hold the iPhone, and then the Beast Grip cage enables me to use all these different lenses. You've got wide angle lenses, you've got telephoto lenses, you've got the anamorphic lens, you've got macro lenses, all of which can plug right on to the iPhone using the Beast Grip cage. And the Beast Grip cage is a wonderful little piece of equipment that enables you to put your lights on, put your sound on, put your lenses on, and it works beautifully. Then, if you want to get real serious, I've got here a follow focus, I've got these extension rings here, which all go to support this baby over here. Now this is a Rokinon 85mm prime lens, which plugs onto this depth of field adapter by Beast Grip, which then goes onto their Beast Grip cage. And that enables me to actually, if I wanted to, get a nice depth of field shot, you know, with a blurry background, subject in focus, blurry background, just gives a nice artistic feel to it. And so you can even do that with the Beast Grip ecosystem. And hey, at the end of the day, even without these add-ons, simply by adding a microphone into the mix, your iPhone by itself is already sufficient. With a bit of creative thinking, with a bit of ingenuity, you can get some great footage, communicate the gospel effectively, simply with your phone and a microphone. That would be my most simple setup and my most basic setup, and I encourage you, use what is in your hands. You don't have to put a lot of money down on the table. Use what is in your hands, start with that, and build it up little by little as you go along.
Were you encouraged by that?
I like that. I like that. He's quoting from Exodus there, you know, when God says to Moses, what do you have in your hand? And it was the staff, you know, use what you have in your hand. Yeah. No, that was fantastic. It's nice to know that just something as ubiquitous as a smartphone can be the basis for, you know, getting a really good setup. I mean, obviously, it looks like it's just infinite in terms of the amount.
Yeah,
of
he definitely had a lot
things
of bells and whistles, but he did tell people they didn't have to start that way, and he didn't start that way. Yeah, speaking of starting, we're going to actually do a little children's ministry now, and we want to intro the ministry from Papsta because they did something really cool during lockdown, and they had a really cool use of animojis and technology. So if we can cue that up, we'd love to see what they were doing. Yeah.
Cool. Over to you, Papa Toi Toi.
Hi everyone and welcome to Epic Time. As always, I am so grateful that you take the time to join me from your place. Now this morning, we are going to be talking about something very special. It is something that... Oh, sorry. Hi Emily.
So maybe we could let the kids guess this time.
Ah, that's a great idea. Okay, what are some clues we can give them?
Well, you do it before you eat.
Yes, you do it when you go to sleep and when you wake up in the morning.
And some people fold their hands and close their eyes.
Yes, and you can do this anytime, any place. And here at Epic Time, that's how we like to start and how we like to finish. Have you guessed what it is yet? Very good. That's right. It's prayer. And speaking of prayer, Emily, do you know who's here to pray for us this morning?
Actually, I do. The Moala family.
Well, that was really interesting. I loved how all of the animojis were there, and we'd love to welcome Fee onto the show. How are you?
Hey, Fee. Wow. You're going to have to unmute yourself, Fee. We're talking
just
about tech and tech fails this week, and you've just given us a fantastic example.
Paying attention.
Happens to the best of us. You saw most of the fails were my fails, so yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for being here with us today.
All good, all good.
Yeah, we love how you, I guess the way that you were kind of speaking the language of how kids are using technology today and then putting that on the screen. You know, my son is 4 and I know he loves just going to my phone and finding all of those emojis. So how did you come up with this idea to incorporate that into the children's ministry?
Well, I guess first and foremost, the main idea was, well, I'll start with the challenge because the challenge is how do you cram what we usually do in an hour in 10 to 15 minutes? And if for those of the people that know me, I'm very animated. You know, when I tell stories, I try to make it really engaging, you know, capture your attention. But now, all of a sudden, there's a screen between me and the children. So, okay, think about...
Yeah, you've got to look at that cold, dead eye of the camera and try to pretend that it's someone who cares, and you actually got to amp up your energy that little bit more, because you know when you're shrunk down from a full-size person into a little screen, it can tend to suck the energy like out of you. So you got to overcompensate it a bit, don't you? Yeah.
Absolutely, and I guess I'm always you know, we have... The truth is, you have the children in Sabbath school who are just always engaged. You know, they're there to learn. And then you get the ones that, you know, they're just like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
A little skeptical, side eye. Yeah.
It's those kids that I'm trying to, you know, engage in. And so, yeah, it's exactly what you said, you know, keeping up your energy and then thinking beyond just what I can do. So what do we have in this day and age that children will look and it will capture their attention? For our children's ministry, it's 0 to 12, which is a huge, you know, that's so many ages. So you're trying to engage a 12-year-old, but at the same time, you're trying to make sure a toddler is watching as well. So the emojis, all the animation works perfectly.
Yeah. So what was your setup like? How was this a YouTube thing or was it live stream pre-record? Like how did you do it?
Well, I must say that it wasn't me that did it. It was definitely a team effort.
Yep.
Because the truth is, hey, let's all be honest here. Jesus, you're watching me. I don't actually know the program or whatever software we use to put the emojis there. But what I did use was just my phone. That's all I had. And the space that I used, you know, to record was obviously in my home, which is different from where I'm living now, but it was a very small space. I didn't have a lot of lighting, so I would wait usually for midday when the sun was at its brightest, and then I would, you know, take my phone. I would have to, you know, I didn't have a, what do you call those things that the
like a selfie stick?
Yeah, I never owned one. But so I would literally use kitchen items, candles, anything around the house to position the
Love
phone.
the ingenuity.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Such a way where I just had it there. There was an Epic Time episode where I wasn't actually sitting flat. I was actually, you know, my body was actually angled in that way just so that I could get. So the whole time I was recording, I was actually like that.
Trying to catch the good light.
So yeah, it's very simple. I literally just recorded on my phone. I use my laptop every now and then, and I learned how to use iMovie. So yeah, that was crazy.
That's cool. Was there a way to have any interaction or feedback like from the kids, or like how did you know if people were watching or what they were getting out of it?
Yeah, sure. So when I was thinking about what Epic Time needed to look like, you know, well, first and foremost, what was the reason why we needed to have Epic Time? Because the reality is you have a children's ministry and you also have a youth ministry. So whatever was going to happen in Epic Time, we had adults and people of all ages watching. So, you know, in making the program, it was just kind of honing in on whatever the message was going to be. It had to be relatable to what was happening in the world. Often at times when I would write the script for Epic Time, I would say, okay, yeah, I believe this is the message. And then Jacinda Ardern would update the country on something. And then I just felt the spirit go, this is what we need to be talking about. So yeah, it's actually a lot of things, but you just need to be flexible. But at the end of the day, you know, we're dealing with technology and it requires so much trust in God because you only do so much. And if it doesn't work, God will do it anyway.
I love it. And I love how you say that, you know, we need to depend on the Holy Spirit. So yes, we have the technology, but we need to also depend on the Holy Spirit. We can't like leave one or the other. We can't say, oh, we don't need to use the tech. We can say we have the tech. Let's use the tech, and let's also depend on the Holy Spirit, because he's going to open up the way or prompt you to do this or that, just like you said. Fee, I'm wondering if there's one tip you might give as we're, you know, thanking you for being here with us today. What's one tip you might give to other churches who are curious about entering this space as you've done?
Well, what I would say is, you know, I guess there's a lot of information around technology and how to use it in this awesome live stream that you guys are doing. But I guess from what I've done, I would say don't be afraid to allow God to push you beyond what you've always been doing. You know, don't be scared of that. Allow Him to take you into new territory, because the thing is that whether you acknowledge it or not, we are all very creative in our own ways. But how much of our creativity do we actually allow God to use, you know? And so don't be afraid. Allow God to use that space, and you will actually be shocked by what you can do, and how God will connect you and His message to people that need to hear it.
Thank you. I think people probably needed to hear the message that you just shared as well. I think that would have really hit home for a lot of people.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Fee. Thanks for sharing your story with us, and all the best with your children's ministry there at Papatoe in the south of Auckland.
Thank you very much, guys. God bless. Take care.
No worries.
You too. I think now it would be appropriate to talk about some of the areas within our division have data restrictions. Like some of us, you know, we kind of use internet like water. We like turn the tap on and expect to just keep coming out. But in some places,
unlimited.
Yes, and we're upset if we can't have it. But in some places, the data is very, like, you have to be very particular about what you're going to watch. So we've invited Rainier to talk about how he uses data compression in order to help save some of the data, so that when we're sending out the files, we're actually helping people to not use up all their data to get the message out that we want to get out. So,
get your notepad out, Lindell.
This one you definitely need to take notes for.
And cue video.
Would you like to reach people in areas where data is hard to come by, or the data they do have is not much, or that they don't have access to Wi-Fi? Then there are certain things that you can do so that you can give the gospel to people in the form of videos or audios. So let's say you have a video and you want to share this video with people that you know they don't have access to Wi-Fi. What you can do then is to render the file by using a free video production program or the production program that you have, and then render only the audio of the file. Put it into a format that is very small, like an FM radio format. That's the format that I use to render our audios only, especially for the older people in South Africa that don't have access to Wi-Fi. The file will end up to be like 10 or 12 megabytes, yet it's a complete presentation that they can listen to. So that's the first thing that you can do if you want to send an audio. If you want to send the video and you need to send the footage along with the audio, then you can compress the file by using a free program called Handbrake. I'm going to show you how to use this program so that you can take a high quality video like this one that is displaying right now. This was one of our presentations that we uploaded to our YouTube channel called The Preparation Ministry. And then you can compress that file from up to 5 to 10 gigs right down to 200 to 500 megabytes. This can be done by using this program called Handbrake. It's an amazing program to compress files and to send to others. So let me show you how this program works. So here I have Handbrake downloaded and opened up. It's a free program. You can just download it from the internet. Your latest one might look a little bit different with the destination folder being at the bottom, but everything else is basically the same as to what you need to do. It's just a layout that has really changed to make your life a little bit easier. So what you do is, number one, you go to your source and you click on the file that you want to compress. So I've got here the Kingdoms in Time documentary done by Amazing Facts, and I've imported it. You saw there, it says importing and it's done. So now it says the source kingdoms in time. This is about 750 megabytes big. Now I need to say where I want it to be saved to. So I'll just take it back to my desktop. So I'll just call it kingdoms in time compressed. And you say save. What you need to make sure when you save it, that it doesn't say MV4 here, but MP4. If it does say MV4 like this, especially when you do a second file, many times it would do that, is just delete that and make it MP4, .mp4. It's very important. The container is MP4, as you can see it, the output settings. And then what you do is you go to your filters tab. If it's the latest one, the filters tab might be on the right. All of these tabs listed here together, but it's the same principle with the destination folder being at the bottom. So you go to your filters tab, and where it says deinterlace, it must be off. Make that off because it just makes the video look better. Then on your video tab, it must be H.264. That's the standard file. It would be in any case the codec, but just make sure it is the .264 codec. Your quality is important. The lower the quality, the number, the higher the quality. So I've seen that if I want a file to still look okay and be compressed, I normally put it at a constant quality of 28 RF. Then what I do is I go to the advanced tab instead, here below the advanced tab instead, and I make the X264 preset, I put that on fast. That is how fast it would render or compress. If you want better quality, then medium or slow, but I like to choose fast while I have a 28 RF. Then on audio, many times I can just leave it as it is, the bitrate at 160. Some might take it up to 384, depends on what it's going to sound like. But I just leave it as it is. The rest I don't really touch. I don't go to the advanced tab. There's nothing there that I want to change, neither in the chapters or the subtitles. It's basically just the filters. Make sure the interlaced is off, and your videos, put your constant quality at 28, and then your preset on fast. Then what you do then is you just press start, and then it would start to compress your file. And here at the bottom it will say how long it's still going to take, and this 750 megabyte file will easily be less than 200 megabytes after this compression, and it will be much easier to send this file to whoever needs the gospel. And I've also seen where I would compress a 5-6 gigabyte file right down to 500-600 megabytes. So this is an amazing program that you can use to spread the gospel. Isn't it amazing how you can compress files so that they're small enough that you can send it to others, those that don't have access to Wi-Fi and only have a limited amount of data? Yet in this way, they can receive your videos and receive the gospel within their homes. May God bless you as you use technology to reach the world.
Kent, were you doing what I thought you were doing?
No, that was actually quite handy, and I have done a little bit of video editing, and I got to tell you, the compression of the video at the end of the process is one of the trickiest aspects to it. So my recommendation for that would be, don't go trying to compress a video at the last minute. It's something that you need a bit of time for. The computer's takes its time churning through, and then if you press the wrong buttons, it comes out squashed, or you got to fiddle with the settings sometimes. But once you get the settings sorted out that work for you, like the ones that Renier recommended there, then I mean, that was great. What he got a file that was nearly 1 gig, like 3/4 of a gig, down to only 200 megs, which is much better.
So if you want, you can just review this video, because obviously you may not have gotten it the first time. So just go back to wherever you're watching and just watch it again. Slow it down where you need to, and just check it out.
Hey, speaking of that, Rachel, I understand there's an effort for the Adventist Church Online Network to get some of these videos and actually set up a video resource library so people can come back and check out these things?
Yes, so you can either check out the Digital Discipleship YouTube channel, because we have a lot of videos there. There's also a website. It's event.adventistchurchonline.com/video, and hopefully our team can put it on the screen so that you can see it. And you'll be able to go back there. We've brought together different videos that we think would be helpful for you in your church, and you'll be able to check those things out. Now we want to, have a little lighter note from what we just watched, because it was, a lot of a lot of techie details. So we're going to go back to animojis, because who doesn't love those? So we're going to see how one chaplain is using those to talk to kids and to just be able to relate with them.
Let me see here. Where's that on? But hi, my name's Pastor Wayne, and I'm the Animoji chaplain for Whangarei Adventist Christian School. I like to tell kids about Jesus. I like to share the love of Jesus in new and creative ways, and I want to inspire you to do the same. To use your Animojis that are on your phone or on whatever app you can find on the app stores, that you can use these as creative ways to talk to young people about Jesus.
Oh, that looked really cute.
That was it. That's cool. That was almost good as my rock god at the beginning.
I don't know if it was as good as what you did, Kent. I'm not sure. Well, we'd love to just chat really briefly with Jordan, so he can tell us a little bit about what he did and how he did it. Hey there.
Hi.
See the resemblance? See the resemblance?
Oh, that's my twin there. Yeah.
Your doppelganger.
Yeah. Can you just really quickly tell us how you did it, why you did it, and how other people can do it as well?
Yeah. Really, it's just been an attention getter for us at our chapel at Whangarei Adventist Christian School. And all you really need is your phone. I have an iPhone. There's a really cool app on there that's already comes with your iOS device, and it's called Clips. Now, I did a bit of research, and there are many, many apps you can use, but best way, if you're really wanting to do this, to be able to share a little bit of content in a creative way, talk to a teenager in your church. They'll help you out, get your avatar set up, get your Animoji set up on your phone, and you can be posting away whatever neat and creative content that you might want to share and catch the young people's attention.
It's really fantastic because, I mean, if you were wanting to get an animation company to put together like a video for you, that would cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. But we've got these this software that's available free online that just transforms us, into an animated character just like that. It just blows me away that it's so easy now. But it can be so easy.
Yeah, that's right. It's fun. It just takes seconds, and it just puts a lot of takes a lot of work out of it.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. From making yourself into a cartoon to how do you film yourself in real life, Pauline from Waymaker is going to give us some tips on how you can film yourself in a really effective way.
Let's be honest, filming on your phone might look easy, but doing it is a whole nother ballgame. My name is Pauline. I'm here to give you guys a few small tips on how you can film better with your smartphone. One of the first things you're going to have to decide on when you start filming is whether you're filming in natural light or using artificial light. When you use natural light, you're best to aim for a cloudy day, not really a sunny day, so you can avoid harsh shadows. You can either film outdoors or indoors near a big window. Now, quickly on angles, you don't want to film too low or too high. You kind of want to aim for something in the middle. This is usually used in a lot of BuzzFeed type videos, which come off very personal, or you want to be off to the side, and this is seen a lot in interview type videos. Now back to lighting. This is what room lighting looks like, and to be honest, it's not all that great, and it's not really casting the best image of my face. I look a bit yellowy. So here's me adding more and more different types of lights that are artificial to my setup. Here we add a lamp in the background, and it's okay, but yeah, still pretty ugly. Now, if you've got the money to buy a softbox, it's definitely worth the investment. The image quality it can help you achieve is drastic compared to just using your house lights. In addition to all the lights I'm using, I actually turn on my computer screen at the back to just give a bit more of detail in the background. And this is actually what my setup looks like. I've got my softbox pointing at me from an angle, and I've got something to just place my phone on so that it stays still. You don't want to be using your hand and just, yeah, trying to keep your camera still. Just use whatever you have at home to kind of place it in a position that you're going to shoot in. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is using colors. Please do not wear the same color as your background because you will look washed out, it's going to look weird, and it's just, yeah, not really a good look. What I do recommend is choosing a color that is completely different from what's in the majority of your background so that you will stand out a lot more. So this is me speaking without a microphone. As you can tell, it's a little bit echoey. It's okay if you've got a quiet space around you, but if you can, I would suggest, hooking up some type of microphone to your phone. And this should make a bit of a difference when it comes to audio. Just so much better, and it's just not bouncing off the walls. And the last thing we're going to talk about is using your energy to have that great camera presence on screen. This is really important because our attention spans are really, really short now that we've got so much media coming at us every day. So what we're going to need to do is use our personalities and engage with the camera as if people were in front of us. So put some excitement into what you're saying. Practice looking at the camera and not really at yourself on the screen. Eye contact is crucial, and even though they're not in front of you, they are watching you behind a screen. I highly recommend that you actually rehearse what you're going to say prior so you can actually get comfortable with what you say, and that you avoid a lot of ums and ahs that come natural when we get nervous. Use hand gestures when possible. They help communicate your message in a very authentic way, and they just kind of keep the flow going rather than having you as this floating talking head. Hi guys, my name is Pauline. I'm a social media coordinator and I work for the AUC. I run a Facebook page and an Instagram page called Waymaker, and we have a lot of fun educational resources on our Waymaker TV channel. Hey guys, my name is Pauline. I am the social media coordinator at the Australian Union Conference. I am part of the Waymaker TV project. I help run the social media pages both on Instagram and Facebook, which includes interviewing people and sharing. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We really appreciate you making the time to improve your camera skills. Here are some other video resources on filming with your smartphone. And if you want to get in touch with either myself, aka Pauline, or Muzz, here are our details and we'd love to chat.
Great tips there. Kent, I heard that you actually did a presentation helping people learn how to present to camera. So
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I did a webinar, I think, in the early days of the COVID lockdown.
And that can be
called Presenting to Camera, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That can be found at the link that you see at the bottom of the screen. So we have a few videos there. There'll be a growing collection of videos there as well. Well, we can go from filming yourself, and we also can figure out how to film food, because a lot of churches have ministries that talk about healthy eating. So Adventist Media has put together some tips on how you can photograph your food. And after that, we're going to be catching up with some members who are actually doing just that. And we're going to learn a yummy recipe. So can't wait to learn how to make that.
Let's check
So how do you make good looking photos of your food? Well, this is a good question, especially if you're doing some sort of a cooking demonstration at your local church. You want to be able to take the best photos of good looking food that makes it appetizing to help people come along to the meetings. So today I want to focus on three main areas to help you get better photos. The first is the food itself, framing, and then lighting. So I've got a few examples here from mums at the table. So the first thing here is add lots of bright colours. So you see here we've got the tomato, the avocado, the leek, the leaves here. So surround the hero with lots of bright colours. And the other thing is to arrange it neatly. Even though this chocolate is sort of a messy organic look, it's still fairly neatly contained in this dish tray. So two things, add lots of colour and then have a fairly neat presentation of the food. One thing that's nice to focus on when you're trying to create a photo is to think of it as a mini scene. For example, in this photo, you don't just have the burrito, you've got the elements around it, and then that's all on the tea towel and the timber, creating the layers of depth. But for example, in this one, we have the hot chocolate, but we've also got a book that you might read with the hot chocolate. So it's trying to put other elements around the hero that create the whole scene. Next, I'll move on to framing. So another principle is add layers and depth. So you've got the cup, which is on a saucer next to a book on a tea towel. And even having the depth of the cup here, other items back here, it adds this depth. Now obviously when you're taking the photo you can do different angles. Now there's two main angles that are most popular. The first is more of a down angle. So with this one, looking from the top is a little bit more flattering because we can see the top texture here. And same with this one, this is quite a down angle so we can see the texture of the soup. But this one is more a side-on shot to see the environment and the scene that we've created. Another thing when choosing the angle, it's often nice to not show the whole scene. So in this photo, I think it would look a lot better if we cropped in to just show a part of it. And then the scene will look bigger because there's things going off the edge of frame. So the last thing I'd like to talk about is lighting. And it's actually quite easy to do. All you have to do is position a table right next to a window with no direct sunlight coming in, and then place the food on top of that. And so in this image here, we've got the window on this side, and having the soft light come from a side with light here, dark, light, dark, light, dark, it creates a nice definition and texture and shape to the food. Another example in this image, you've got the window on this side with the soft light coming in. It creates nice texture and definition around the leaves here and the corn, with light on this side, dark on this side. In this photo, the window is on this side and the soft light's coming across, which creates a lot of texture here with the light and then the dark, the light, dark, light, dark around here. So that's basically it. You've got your hero that's neatly presented and then surrounded by a scene of bright, colourful ingredients and things that are related to the scene. And then in the framing, don't go too wide, crop in a little bit, and add layers and depth both horizontally and vertically. And then with the lighting, position everything near a window with no direct sunlight coming in and take photos with the window in the background. So there you have it.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je remercie la commune d'avoir lancé ce Tutu Challenge. Et ce que je vais vous présenter, c'est du beurre de routo. C'est à la portée de tous. Alors pour faire ce beurre-là, voici les ingrédients qu'il faut. Du routo de mon jardin, du maïs, du lait de coco, du persil, de l'ail, du poivre et du sel. Voici la recette. Il faut une boîte de maïs vide. Alors, il nous faut une boîte de maïs, tu mets dans le blender, une boîte de lait de coco pur, dans le blender, et une boîte de routo pour remplir la boîte. Alors, salé, poivré, un peu d'ail et du persil. Et on fait tourner ça. Et on laisse dans un récipient et laisser reposer au frais pendant une nuit. Et demain matin, on verra la texture du beurre. Bonjour tout le monde, voilà, nous sommes le lendemain matin. Le beurre de routo est prêt. Voyez bien, prêt à être timide s'il est incompris. Vous pouvez fabriquer maintenant votre beurre végétal à la maison, à la portée de tous. Excellent.
Ooh, that made me a little bit hungry there.
Excellent. I got
Excellent.
that. Oh, I got that. And
You know-
those food photos. Yeah, I'm hungry too. I'm like, let's keep this program going.
So we can
so
go
we
get
can
something
eat.
to eat. Well, we want to bring Ambroise onto the show. He's actually oh, I see are those your sons as well with you?
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Bonjour,
Welcome, happy
bonjour.
Sabbath. Bon sabbat.
Yeah. So was that your mother or your grandmother on screen there doing the cooking, Ambroise?
Yeah, this is she's the grandmother who happens to be my mother-in-law.
Ah, okay.
Oh, okay.
So we understand that you and your sons do the filming.
Yes, I'm actually the journalist for more than 20 years. I work
Wow.
on media. I was looking after our radio station here, our church radio station for about 5 years. But this video was filmed during lockdown, and I was also involved in the municipality of our commune, and then they were asking what can we do during lockdown to make people busy, try to learn something during this time. And after 2 weeks, people started to be bored at home. So my mother-in-law came with the idea of making recipe online and put it online so that people can learn from some of the healthy food that the church used to
Yeah.
teach people to be involved in this ministry for many years. My mother-in-law just she's a pastor's wife. My father-in-law passed away. He was in the Prince of Orange. So, and then my two sons were behind me, just back from France, where they attend school there, university. So when they came back, there was a good exercise for them, to practice and to get involved in community. So they made the video with their grandmother just with the phone, with their iPhone.
Wow. So
Yeah,
that was I can see them now with their iPhones actually. They're recording this as well.
Yeah, Ambroise, you're breaking up a little bit. We might have to cut this a little bit shorter, maybe. But are you in French Polynesia at Tahiti? Is that right?
Yes, in Tahiti, yes.
Right. Okay. Wow, that's fantastic, and it's really good to see that there's some plant-based cooking, some plant-based recipes, some healthy recipes there. That by your mother-in-law, because I imagine health issues, lifestyle health issues are a problem there in your part of the Pacific.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of obesity here. This is one of the main issues we have here in French Polynesia. And during this, when they made this film, when we broadcast this film on Facebook, there were more than 80,000 people who saw the video. And the TV stations here, they asked us if they can broadcast this on TV. So it went on TV, and we reached out about 180,000 people who saw the video.
Wow, and this is all from iPhone footage. Yeah.
Yes, it's just for the video. And my mother-in-law, when she goes to the shop, people
Everyone recognizes her now.
She's a star, yeah. And it was a pretty simple setup, like you said, it was just shot on an iPhone. I think we could hear from the audio that it was just the camera mic. There wasn't a lapel mic on her or anything. But nevertheless, when people are thirsty for content, you put it out there and they'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
we want to say
the good thing about this is that she put at the introduction of the video, she put a verse from the Bible, and then straight after the verse, then we have this film that you saw. But when we took it to the TV station, so they cut out this you know, the verse, but we, yeah, because they said we cannot, you know, mix our belief with this kind of video. So
Yeah.
we don't really, you know, but we still appreciate because it's so good. And now she has a lot of contacts because she went on TV and also on media on Facebook. So she really likes. Actually, tonight she's in Mission Caleb. This is a program for youth. She's attending there to teach young people during 1 week how to make healthy recipes. So this is some of the things that we're doing here in Thailand.
We want to thank you and your family for everything that you're doing. Thanks for coming on the show and for sharing how you're spreading healthy cooking. And it looked great. Just tell your boys that we said that what they did on their iPhone looked really amazing. And really it made me hungry.
Merci, mon frère. Merci.
Thanks for being with us. From audio, from video, we want to now go to audios. Your church might be wondering how to pull audio together. We have a quick video to help you with your audio setup.
The first area that we want to cover is audio.
Hey, your microphone cutting off, I think.
Test 1, 2, 3. Working?
That sounds better.
Awesome. See, without audio, you can't hear what I'm saying, and this video is basically pointless.
And us as a Seventh-day Adventist, our job is to deliver the message.
And if you aren't delivering the message and they can't hear what the message is, you're not really delivering the message at all. So we're going to cover some options that you can take a look at to kickstart your audio for your online church.
The first thing that we like to cover is the budget option. I do know a lot of churches that do not have specific budget for their AV system. So if this applies to you, stick with the wired microphone. With a wired microphone, you can spend about $100, Australian dollars I'm talking about, and you'll be fine. Yes, it is a bit more restrictive, especially if your pastor like to walk around. However, you cannot go wrong.
That's right, it's stable. The next option we're going to cover is something more in the mid-range option if you have a larger budget. Now, we recommend the Sennheiser wireless mics, which is actually what we're using right here, and they cost around $700.
Actually, this particular one is exactly what we're using at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I bought it in 2008 for, I believe, $800, and it's still working just fine.
And that's over a decade later. And this is really easy because all you need to do is just plug the wireless receiver into your camera and plug the microphone onto the person.
And you'll be fine.
Couldn't be simpler.
But however, we need to warn you, do not buy the cheap wireless microphone.
Yes.
We try a few of those from eBay, from Alibaba.
Yeah, no.
And it's just so much interference to the point that we actually throw it in the bin.
Yeah, just because it's cheap and you think you're saving money, you're not saving money in the long term because you'll need to keep buying because they break.
However, if you're still able to use your church building, you may be able to use your existing sound system. A lot of churches, they will have something look like this. Just ask your sound guy that you can plug in your camera to the auxiliary or sometimes even a headphone port.
And they'll be able to point out to you where that port is and just connect it straight to the camera, and you have the whole mixer worth of sound right into your camera.
And if you cannot, if it's too far away, you can also use the wireless microphone to bridge between the mixer and the camera. That's what I'll do all the time because I cannot run 100 meters cable across the church safely.
So basically it's just plugging in the transmitter into the mixer and then plugging in the receiver into your camera.
And you're done.
Couldn't be simpler. In our next video, we're going to cover the second most important thing, lighting.
We'll see you then.
Now, if you're wondering about that next video, it's available on our YouTube channel. So just search for Digital Discipleship. Look for our cute little green bubble with the yellow D in it, and you'll be able to see that entire series. There are 6 videos in that series.
Yeah. I really like this message that's coming through. The audio is crucial. A couple of videos back, there was even someone who said, look, if you have limited bandwidth, go with an audio-only stream. So people can hear it, even if there's no video whatsoever. I thought that was a fantastic thing to say. That's a great place to start.
Yeah, I agree.
podcasting. Everyone's podcasting these days, so why not?
Yeah, you too. You're podcasting.
Oh, that's true. Everyone,
well,
like I said.
We want to bring Esther Sean on because we've been following her journey with her church at Manor Park. Welcome, Esther Sean. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey,
that's
so
good.
Have you been following through today, Esther Sean? What we've been talking about? Has anything jumped out at you?
Well, I've got a few notes and there's a few tips. I mean, I'm not so much on the tech side, but I'm sure some of the people in my team who are more that way minded will probably appreciate it.
Well, we do wonder what your journey has been. We do meet during the week, so from this past week, you can give us a short synopsis of like what your takeaway has been from this past week. What have you learned and what have you implemented? What have you seen?
So this past week we were working on a content calendar, and it was just really good to brainstorm, get information out there, work out who is able to help us with finding information, and then also putting it down into some workable plan. So we had a meeting with the team today, and it was really good to be able to say, so for this week, can you find something on this? Can you find something on this? And can you post it or schedule it to be posted on this day at this time? And
yes, Esther Sean. Yes, delegate, delegate.
Yeah. So it was just good to see the team got more excited when it was clear for them, and it was exciting for me to be able to see. Look, we actually have
warm
stuff.
Inside. Hearing you say these things makes me so excited that these are the things you're implementing. So we're going to have a really exciting announcement next week around what you all are doing next, because we're going to launch a digital discipleship challenge with you. I know today's time is a bit short with you, but you and I will meet during the week and we'll have another chat and we'll be able to update people on your progress at that time. And hopefully we'll be able to hear you play the harp then.
Yes, please. Thanks, Esther Sean. Appreciate your time this week.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
What's up next, Rachel?
Well, I've really enjoyed her journey, like seeing what she's doing. And one thing that's important is knowing that you can have a website. So within Adventist Media, we have an option for you and your church. If you're looking to set up a website, there's a free platform that you can use, and it's called Adventist Place. Adventist Place is developed internally. It's really simple to use. There is some content that can already come along and help you. So if this is something you're interested in, you can get in touch with anybody. Like if you're on any of those pages, let those pages know, let your unions know that you're interested in this platform, and we can get you some additional information about it as well. And I know that Pete at TPUM is using it for his platform. We see, we had Caitlin on last week. So this is her church's website. They're using the Adventist Place platform as well. So it's been used in different places, and it's a simple solution if you're looking for something.
Yeah, and I guess part of the strength of it is that you don't necessarily have to populate the website with all your own original content. You're actually plugging into content that's already there in the sort of the Adventist ecosystem. Like record stuff and things like that. It's there on your front screen, and it can update. But of course, you can interrupt it and put your own info in there and personalize it as much as you need to.
That one was from PNGUM as well. So I think it's an exciting option. I guess we have to start imagining, what the world could be with technology. Like, what could it be if we all started kind of using what we have, being willing to make those mistakes and just being willing to put ourselves out there. And I think, let's imagine together about what could happen if we all started using this technology together.
Yeah, Trinity Gardens, that's my mother-in-law's church there, so there you
go. Big up for Trinity Gardens.
Go Adelaide.
But yeah, if we could cue that video about imagining about technology and what the world could look like if we really just started using it.
I'm sitting here today imagining the past, imagining what it was like just a few decades ago, when if you wanted a personal computer, you needed a room of your house to be dedicated to that because it was so big and so bulky and so cumbersome. I'm imagining a time when if you wanted to go out and shoot video, you had to carry a video camera around that was so big and bulky it took two hands to hold and it needed to rest on your shoulder. I'm imagining a time when to store only 5 megabytes of data, it required a hard drive the size of a cabinet that weighed over a ton, and it had to be lifted with a forklift. I'm so glad we don't live in those times. Today we live in a world where we've built on those great inventions and on those great minds, and now we, for instance, live in a world where we have this little device, a personal computer that's slim enough to fit into our pocket. Yep, we call it a phone, but it's so much more than that. It's also a cinematic device with multiple cameras. This is an incredible invention that enables you and me to tell the story of Jesus wherever we go and whatever we're doing. There's 2 challenges with imagining. The one is that the past shackles us. Our present ways of doing things prevent us from imagining something much better. And on the other hand, sometimes we get so caught up in imagining what we should have in the ideal world that we fail to proceed with what we have in our hand right now. You know, the imaginations of a great green screen studio, and if I just had that, I'd be able to do some amazing video for the Lord. Or if I just had that $20,000 or $30,000 red camera, that is what I would need to make amazing cinematic footage. Or I need a whole army of volunteers to work around the clock to put together and edit and finish and polish awesome video. Sometimes we can let our imagination get so far away from us that we fail to simply use what's in our hand right now, to start with what we have, and to let the day of small beginnings grow in a natural way into something great and something profound. Remember, your creativity is not technology dependent. Creativity is about having a great story to tell. Creativity is about having a mind and a heart to see opportunity. Creativity is about working and collaborating in teams. It's not about the technology. But today we do live in a world where we don't have to imagine portability, technical tools, and all the rest of it. We carry them in our hands. Start with what you have. Use what's in your hand right now for the glory of the Lord, and let Him bless it and multiply it and grow it into something you could never have imagined possible. Start with what you have.
Inspirational words from Adrian. Fantastic stuff. Thanks for that, Adrian.
Yes. He's always challenging us that little bit further.
Yeah. Hey, one sort of theme that I've noticed coming through today, a couple of times, is involvement of younger people. That younger people are often digital natives. They understand the tech, and if you're in a church, you're struggling to know where to start. Ask a grandchild. Ask a young person. They're often slouching in the back, not involved. They want to be involved. They've got talents to share. So yeah, I think for me that's one key message that has emerged. Involve young people.
Yes, and I think we have such an opportunity. If you know of a young person that's doing something amazing in this space already, please tell us in the comment section, because we'd love to highlight the work that they're doing. We found in looking for stories, they're one of the hardest groups to identify, but we know they're doing so much. So we're appealing to you, our viewers, to let us know what they're doing so we can really highlight them and acknowledge them and encourage them in what they're doing. So now is the
fantastic
time. Oh, go
yes.
ahead.
We're going to say goodbye, but there's time for some workshops. So if you want to explore some sort of different areas of church online and the technological aspect in particular, we're going into that. What are the topics for this week, Rachel?
Yes, we have 5 different topics. We'll post them on each of your pages wherever you're watching. And if you don't have the details for the Zoom meeting, you can ask at your page, or if you're on our mailing list, you'll get an email right after this. The sessions will start at 4, so you have about 15 minutes to go to the bathroom, grab something to drink, grab something to eat, and then join us in the Zoom group, and even for us to send out the information to you. So the groups are finding solutions together as a group. So if you have any questions from what you've seen today, or just you have a question around tech, hop in that group, and the group will try to work together to see how they can find solutions.
So just a general follow-up one.
Yeah, but it's more like troubleshooting. So oh, I have this cord, where does it go? And we have people there, hopefully, who can try to find solutions together. Gotcha. So if you saw Rod Long, he was on last week. He's going to be in that group and going to work together as a group, try to find solutions for problems. If we don't have them, hopefully we can look them up. The second
Okay.
one is about the phone ecosystem. So you saw Adrian talk about how they use this phone ecosystem. If you want to know more about that, he's going to chat about that in a room.
Oh, that'd be
The-
great.
The third one is about just how to get started. So last week we saw Rodney was on from the church in Vanuatu. So they were talking, I think it's Podoroiki, and they were talking about how they got started. So if you have questions around just getting started, he's going to be in that room. We have another one that's talking about the technical aspects of church, and that one's going to be in French. So if you want to know about, similar to Finding Solutions Together, but this one's going to be in French. And then the last one is about Adventist Place. So that was the website platform that we chatted about. If you're interested in knowing how to set it up, Pete's going to be there. He's set up lots of them before, so he can answer any questions you have or talk to you about setup. So we'll type all of those in whatever platform you're watching on now. You have about 12 minutes to get in. It's going to start at 4 p.m. Sorry, that's 4 p.m. Australian time. I should be clear about that.
So 6 p.m. New Zealand time and probably some of the islands as well, yeah.
Yeah, so those are your options, but we've had a lot of fun with you. We've kept you a long time. If you've stayed this long, you are you're going to get good and faithful. Well done. Well done, you good and faithful servant.
No, it's been fantastic, and I think, we've really learnt a lot. It's okay to fail. If you don't, if you're not failing, it means you're probably not trying hard enough.
Love that,
Basically,
Kent.
get in there, have a go. Have a go.
Yes, definitely. Well, it's been our pleasure to spend this time with you, and hopefully this has inspired your church. Let us know how you're taking action, because it inspires us to continue doing what we're doing. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
I think
we
we're
still
still